In just 56 hours, everything we thought we knew about the military balance in the Middle East was turned on its head. A ghost fleet, flying under the cover of total darkness, delivered an arsenal so advanced it caught the world's most powerful nations completely off guard. And it all started with a single, stunning intelligence report. So let's get into it.
So, picture this. You're one of the most powerful naval commanders on the planet. You've just stepped off a plane in Tel Aviv for some pretty high-stakes meetings. But before you can even leave the tarmac, you're handed a piece of intel that changes, well, everything. Your plans, your strategy, your entire understanding of the region, it all just gets blown up in an instant.
Mark that date, January 24th. Because what that admiral learned was that a secret operation had just wrapped up. An operation so massive, so significant, that it instantly challenged decades of American military dominance in one of the most volatile places on Earth. So, how did this all kick off? Well, it begins with a dramatic, almost movie-like briefing right there on the airport tarmac. The man right in the middle of all this is U.S. Navy Vice Admiral Brad Cooper. He lands in Israel, probably expecting some routine meetings. Instead, he gets this report, and it's so explosive that his first call isn't to his Israeli hosts, it's straight to U.S. command. And later, when he finally meets with the Israeli Chief of Staff, they confirm it. Israeli intelligence saw the exact same thing. This wasn't a rumor, this was real.
So what was in the report? What was this big secret? It was the existence of a massive secret air bridge, a ghost fleet, flying out of Beijing, operating completely in the dark.
And get this, the entire operation took place in just 56 hours. That's a little over 2 days. A nonstop, intense airlift that nobody in the public knew was even happening.
The sheer scale of it is just staggering. We're talking more than 16 separate flights, one right after another, creating what was basically a conveyor belt of advanced military hardware through the sky.
And the way they pulled it off was brilliant. They used these huge Chinese Y-20 military cargo planes, each one capable of hauling over 60 tons of gear. But here's the key part. To stay invisible, every single plane switched off its transponder right before it flew into Iranian airspace. They just vanished from all the tracking systems. This was a deliberate move to blind any Western surveillance.
Which, of course, brings us to the billion-dollar question. What in the world was on those planes? What was so critical that it justified this kind of risk, this level of secrecy?
Okay, so the cargo was basically a complete strategic upgrade for an entire nation's military. We're talking advanced electronic warfare systems to jam things like radar and drones, brand new anti-ship missiles to threaten any navy that gets too close, and the HQ-9B air defense system. Now think of that as a massive defensive shield able to knock out planes and missiles from hundreds of kilometers away. But as powerful as all that stuff is, the single most important thing they delivered wasn't really a weapon at all.
No, it was a system that could fundamentally break America's decades-long monopoly on navigation. Something some are calling a GPS killer.
See, we all use GPS, but it's crucial to remember that the entire global positioning system is owned and controlled by the U.S. military. It guides everything from the map on your phone to precision-guided bombs. And for years, that control has been a huge strategic ace up America's sleeve. In a conflict, the U.S. could just deny access to an enemy, leaving them practically blind.
And this right here shows you why this is such a monumental shift. China has given Iran access to its own system called Baidu. It's totally independent. Washington can't turn it off, and according to intelligence, its accuracy is just as good, maybe even better than GPS. For Iran, this is a total game changer. It means they can now target anything they want with incredible precision, using a system the US has absolutely no control over.
So let's be clear, this isn't some abstract future problem. The delivery of these systems had immediate, real-world consequences. It started rewriting the rules of engagement in the Persian Gulf almost overnight.
Almost as soon as the airlift was complete, Iran's military issued this statement. I mean, listen to it. That's not subtle diplomatic speak. That is a direct, unambiguous threat to any warship that comes near their coastline.
And you better believe that threat was taken seriously. The American aircraft carrier, the USS Abraham Lincoln, was heading towards the region. But it stopped. It is now holding its position over 1,000 kilometers away from the Iranian coast, well outside the range of these new missile systems. Message received loud and clear.
So the fallout from this is just immense. For the first time in a very long time, American air and naval power in the Gulf is being directly challenged.
Emergency meetings are scrambling to happen between Washington and Tel Aviv, and maybe the biggest tell of all, the public tone from U.S. officials has suddenly gotten a lot softer. All of a sudden, the talk is about negotiations.
Which, of course, raises the big picture question here. Why would China make a move this bold? And why do it now?
Well, this didn't just happen in a vacuum. A while back, China and Iran signed a 25-year strategic cooperation pact. Meanwhile, Russia, who is usually Iran's go-to arms dealer, is totally bogged down in Ukraine and getting hammered by sanctions. They can't deliver. So this created a massive strategic opening, and China just stepped right in to fill it, making good on that long-term promise.
Now, it is really important to note that neither Beijing nor Tehran has said a single public word about any of this. The entire story is built on Western and Israeli intelligence, but the evidence they've pieced together paints a very, very clear picture of a partnership that's now moving from paper promises to real-world action.
And all of this leaves us with one final, pretty unsettling question, because this goes way beyond just a simple arms deal. With this secret ghost fleet and the game-changing tech it delivered, are we watching, in real time, the birth of a brand new military axis that could reshape the entire globe for decades to come?